In the small town of Zivu, a young man named Naro lived a peaceful life. He was known for his kindness and hardworking spirit. Naro had a small shop where he sold grains, spices, and other household goods. People loved to buy from him because he was honest and fair. One afternoon, just a few days before Ramadan, Naro was walking home when he saw an old man sitting by the roadside. The man wore torn clothes, and his hands trembled as he reached out for help. "Please, kind son, help me buy clothes for the mosque during Ramadan. I have nothing to wear." Naro's heart softened at the old man's plea. He imagined how sad it would be to have no proper clothes for prayers during the holy month. Without hesitation, he reached into his pocket, pulled out a good amount of money, and placed it in the beggar's hands. "May your kindness be rewarded," the old man whispered with a strange smile. Naro simply nodded, feeling satisfied that he had done a good deed. Little did he know, his life was about to change in ways he could never imagine. The very next morning, strange things started happening. Naro's shop, which was always full of customers, suddenly became empty. People passed by without even looking inside. He tried to call out to them, but they acted as if they could not hear him. At home, his cow fell sick and stopped giving milk. His younger brother, Tono, suddenly fell ill, and the doctor could not explain what was wrong. Naro felt an unease creeping into his heart. Days passed, and Naro's problems kept growing. His grains began to rot, and his spices lost their scent. He used all his savings to fix things, but nothing worked. Then, the worst happened, his landlord came and demanded rent. When Naro told him he needed more time, the landlord shouted, "No more excuses. If you can't pay, leave my house." With nowhere else to go, Naro packed his few belongings and left with his sick brother. He had lost everything, and he did not understand why. As he sat outside in the cold night, Naro's mind kept going back to the beggar. "It all started after I gave him money," he whispered. A terrible thought crossed his mind: what if the beggar had done something to him? Determined to find answers, he made a decision. He would search for the beggar and ask him why his life had turned upside down. But the problem was, the old man had disappeared. Naro searched every street, every corner of the town, but there was no sign of the beggar. No one had seen him. It was as if he had never existed. People started whispering that Naro was cursed. Some even avoided him. He felt helpless, but he refused to give up. He had to find that beggar, no matter how long it took. One night, as he sat outside an old mosque, an old woman approached him. "Young man, stop searching for things that are beyond your understanding," she said in a whisper. Naro's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" he asked. "The man you seek is not an ordinary beggar," she said. "Be careful, or you may never return from this journey." Ignoring the warning, Naro left town and traveled to nearby villages. He asked about a beggar who needed clothes for Ramadan, but no one knew him. Years passed, and Naro became a wanderer. His hair grew long, and his clothes became tattered. Still, he searched. Hope was the only thing keeping him alive. One day, after nearly losing all hope, Naro met a traveler who spoke of an old beggar in a distant town. His heart pounded. "Where can I find him?" he asked eagerly. "Follow the river," the traveler said. "You might find what you seek." Following the river, Naro arrived in a town he had never seen before. It was quiet, almost abandoned. He walked through the empty streets, his heart racing. Then, he saw him. The same old beggar, sitting by the roadside, just as he had been years ago. Naro ran to him. You did something to me. My life has been ruined because I helped you." The beggar looked up with a slow smile. "Oh, you have returned." Naro clenched his fist. "Why did you do this to me?" The beggar sighed. "You were tested, my son. I needed a pure soul to break my curse. By helping me, you took my place. Naro's blood ran cold. What do you mean? The beggar's face darkened. I was once like you, a good man. But a wicked sorcerer tricked me into taking his curse. I had to pass it on to someone who would help without expecting anything in return. And you were the chosen one. Naro felt rage and sadness mix inside him. So I was doomed for being kind. The beggar nodded. But there is a way to undo it. You must pass the kindness forward, not to one, but to many. Only then will you be free. With no other choice, Naro began helping people. He gave to the poor, fed the hungry, and took care of orphans. Slowly, his bad luck started to fade. His brother recovered, and his shop reopened. People no longer avoided him. It was as if life itself had forgiven him. Years later, Naro returned to the same place where he had first met the beggar. But the man was gone. Only the wind whispered through the empty streets. He had learned a powerful lesson: kindness should be given freely, but one must also be careful. Not every hand that asks for help is what it seems. Naro's life had finally returned to normal. His business flourished again, his brother was healthy, and he no longer lived in fear. But deep inside, he still felt unsettled. The memory of the beggar haunted him. One evening, as he sat outside his shop watching the sunset, a strange thought crossed his mind. What if the curse was never truly lifted? What if there was something more to this mystery? His heart felt heavy. Something told him that his journey was not yet over. That night, Naro had a terrible dream. He saw himself back in the empty town where he had met the beggar for the second time. But this time, the town was darker, covered in thick fog. A voice echoed through the mist. You think you are free, but the chains still hold you. Naro woke up in a cold sweat. His hands trembled. Was it just a dream, or was the curse not completely broken? The next morning, as he prepared to open his shop, he noticed something strange on his wrist. A faint, dark mark, like a shadow, had appeared on his skin. His heart pounded. He had never seen it before. Had the curse left something behind? He decided he needed to find answers, this time, not by searching for the beggar, but by seeking knowledge. Naro traveled to a distant village where an old wise man named Soroko was known for understanding strange occurrences. When Naro showed him the mark, the old man's eyes widened. This is no ordinary curse, young man, Soroko said. It lingers because a part of your soul still belongs to the one who tricked you. Naro's throat felt dry. What must I do? You must find the sorcerer who started this chain. Only then will you truly be free. With a heavy heart, Naro set out once again. This time, he was not looking for the beggar, but the one who had cursed him in the first place. For months, he traveled from town to town, asking if anyone knew of a sorcerer who had the power to transfer misfortune from one soul to another. At last, in a small village near the mountains, he found his first clue. An elderly woman in the village whispered a name, Odemu. He was a powerful sorcerer long ago, she said. But he vanished many years ago. Some say he still walks among us, disguised. Naro's heart pounded. The beggar had also disappeared without a trace. Could it be? As Naro pieced together the clues, a terrible realization dawned on him. The beggar had never been a victim. He had been the sorcerer all along. He had fooled Naro into thinking he was cursed, tricking him into spreading kindness, while secretly binding him to the cycle of suffering. Determined to break free, Naro returned to the abandoned town where he had last seen the beggar. Days passed, but the town remained empty. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a slow, familiar voice behind him. You should not have come back, boy. Naro turned sharply. The beggar stood there, unchanged, as if time had not touched him. You lied to me, Naro said, his voice shaking with anger. The beggar smiled. Did I? Or did I simply give you a new purpose? Naro clenched his fist. You stole my life. You made me suffer for years. The beggar's eyes darkened. You suffered, yes. But tell me, did you not also grow? Did you not become wiser? Naro hesitated. It was true, he had become a different man. But that did not change the fact that he had been deceived. I want my soul back, he said firmly. The beggar chuckled. Very well, boy. If you truly wish to break the bond, you must win a test of fate. A gust of wind howled through the empty town. If you can perform one final act of kindness without expecting anything in return, your soul will be free. But if you fail, your suffering will begin again, worse than before. Naro's heart pounded. He had no choice but to accept. As Naro walked out of the town, wondering what challenge awaited him, he saw a young woman crying on the roadside. Her clothes were torn, and she looked lost. Please, sir, I have no home, no food. Can you help me? Naro hesitated. Was this the test? Or was it another trick? Then he realized, it did not matter. Kindness should not be given for a reward. He reached into his bag and gave her all the money he had left, along with his own cloak. May you find peace, he said, walking away without looking back. As he took his final step out of the town, the wind stopped. The air became still. Then, he felt it, something lifting from his soul, like a heavy weight dissolving into nothingness. The mark on his wrist faded. The curse was gone. The beggar, or rather, the sorcerer, was nowhere to be seen. Naro returned home a free man. His shop thrived, his heart felt lighter, and for the first time in years, he had no fear of unseen shadows. He had been tricked into suffering, but in the end, he had overcome it by choosing kindness over revenge. One morning, as he swept the floor of his shop, a young boy ran in and handed him a small letter. It had no name, no seal, just a single line written in old ink. Kindness freed you, but wisdom will guide you. Remember what you have learned. Naro stared at it for a long time. He would never know if the sorcerer was still watching, or if he had truly disappeared. But he knew one thing for sure, his destiny was his own now. Naro's journey had been long and filled with suffering, but it had taught him a lesson that he would never forget. He had learned that while kindness is a virtue, it must always be given with wisdom. Moral lesson. Not every hand that reaches out for help is truly in need. Some people use kindness as a tool for their own selfish desires. Naro had given with a pure heart, yet he had suffered greatly because he did not see the hidden danger behind the act. This does not mean that people should stop helping others, but rather that they should be careful. One must learn to recognize true need from deceit, and never let blind generosity lead them into harm's way. If someone asks for help, take a moment to think. Ask questions, understand their situation, and never act on emotion alone. True kindness is not about giving without thought, it is about helping in a way that truly benefits both the giver and the receiver. Naro's story serves as a warning, helping others is good, but wisdom must guide every act of generosity. A kind heart without wisdom can lead to destruction, but a kind heart with wisdom can change the world for the better. And so, as people heard Naro's tale, they learned to help wisely, to give carefully, and to always watch for those who might take advantage of their kindness. For kindness is a gift, but only when given to the right hands. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed our story. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye for now.